This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.
Good morning, Lynners and all the rest. It's hard to believe we are already through another month, even if it is the shortest one. However, this week is overflowing with news from the state, city, and half a dozen organizations. Not to be left out, the Lynn Public Health Department made their mark on the lowdown, introducing a brand new program being offered to the community. What is it, you ask? You'll have to watch and find out. So let's dive right in with the news for Friday, February 28th, 2025. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts Board of Elementary and Secondary Education held a meeting on February 25th, where they voted down the expansion of KIPP Academy 6-4. Senator Brendan Crichton, Representatives Dan Cahill, Jenny Armini, and Sean Reed, Mayor Nicholson, and the President of the American Federation of Teachers, Jessica Yang, all spoke in opposition to the expansion. They all referenced how KIPP had not met the 3-year mark for proficiency, as well as the current financial state of Lynn. Specifically, Rep. Reed stated, quote, "We're here because of the pandemic. That's why our test scores fell. And we've already proven with the efforts of our superintendent, our mayor, and our school committee that we can improve," end quote. On the flip side, Executive Director of KIPP Academy, Nikki Barnes, pointed to their 98% retention rate and 87% college attendance rate, compared to the 39% locally. In terms of financial concerns, Barnes countered, quote, "If KIPP Lynn enrolled all 450 students in 1 year, the district would receive $17 million in reimbursement over a 3-year period," end quote. But ultimately, the board rejected the KIPP Academy expansion plan. Following the vote, LPS Superintendent Dr. Yvonne Alvarez released a statement, part of which reads, quote, "We are relieved that the board's vote maintains existing funding for Lynn Public Schools, which will allow us to continue to meet the needs of our diverse student population," end quote, while Executive Director Barnes did not release a statement. These next two events were filmed by LCTV member Dario, so a big thanks for all your help. First up, a snapshot of Soundscape Visions. This unique event combines music with pictures to create a surreal, immersive experience for the audience.
A little bit about some of the works. We're not going to talk about every single piece. Keep some of the mystery going. We're going to have a lot of variety in the show, both visually and musically. And we're going to get you guys going with something nice and easy. So we're going to slide in with some Bach that goes very nicely together with some nature photography by Ellery Sanchez, who is a member of the Gallery of the Arts.
Collaboration of musicians and visual artists that has created an enhanced video and auroral multimedia experience. This year's show, called Dark Waters, took us from the deep sea to a series of paintings done by Ukrainian children. From there, we go to the wheat fields of Van Gogh, and finally here to Lynn, with video of iconic places around the city. The music of violist Alexander Vavilov and pianist Francis Xavier DeCosted provided a wonderful point of reference for viewing the visuals.
This was immediately followed by part 2 of the Lynn Music Foundation's Producer Showcase in the Vault Theater. 4 artists shared their original beats before participating in a Q&A session with attendees.
Hey, yo, so tonight, I'm gonna play some tunes, so I'm saying we're gonna get down with the get down. Yo, to be honest, I'm gonna like sample switch a little. I just want y'all to get into my mind real quick.
Where sound meets art in its purest, most unapologetic form.
Tonight we had a great event. It's Producer Showcase Part 2 with Beats on the Beach Boston in collaboration with us at the La Music Foundation. We had 4 producers who showcased their beats. Ruby, Vintage Fiend, Smejo of the Mejos, and Lila. And it was a great event. We had a good time, listened to some beats, bobbed our heads, and got to really have a conversation with a lot of the local creatives. So yeah, it was great.
The sky was set ablaze last Friday night from a 5-alarm fire, causing a building to collapse and leaving 18 people without a home. The fire began just after 8 p.m. at 6 Estes Street before jumping to 10 Chestnut Street. District Chief Robert McIsaac, the incident commander, ordered a working fire at 8:30 p.m., and by 8:45, he called a 5-alarm fire as the neighborhood was evacuated. 20-mile-per-hour winds and burning power lines made the fire even more difficult to control. The Iglesias Evangelica Congregational Church, first built in 1938, also caught fire from the original building, and due to structural damage, the church collapsed as firefighters managed to contain the flames. According to the Lynn Fire Department, a company stayed on the scene overnight to wet down any hot spots. As 18 people were displaced, the Red Cross and Salvation Army were also notified. When all was said and done, officials from 10 surrounding towns and cities joined 35 Lynn personnel, eclipsing more than 60 people on scene. This fire remains under investigation by the Lynn Fire Investigation Unit and Massachusetts State Police. Federal funding cuts and immigration issues are beginning to sound alarm bells for North Shore Community Health and Lynn Community Health Center. U.S. Rep. Seth Moulton visited with both groups, along with Elliott Community Health Services, on the 20th to discuss the urgency of these issues. As stated by Maggie Brenna, the president and CEO of North Shore Community Health, federal grants account for nearly a quarter of their funding, making cuts a major threat. A longtime board member added that the fear surrounding immigration policies is causing the next generation to lose access to food, behavioral health services, and medical care. As for LCHC, student services are their greatest concern. According to their CEO, Brenda Rodriguez, quote, "We have 18 school-based health centers serving around 3,700 students. If we pull those resources out, our students will suffer. We're preventing suicides, emergency room visits, and keeping hardworking families from missing work," end quote. They both went on to stress that an additional $2 charge on prescriptions in MA would threaten the 34B drug pricing program, while cuts to Medicaid could derail the entire system. As the meeting concluded, Moulton reaffirmed his support, while health leaders continue to stress the importance of action and fighting back in any way they can. Dominican Republic Pride overtook the Lynn Auditorium the evening of the 25th, beginning with the flag raising and singing of their national anthem on the steps of City Hall, before moving inside for a night of speeches, performances, and citations to mark the 181st anniversary of Dominican Republic independence.
Febrero 25, vamos a darle la bendición a este evento y vamos a llamar a al Padre Paulo Gómez.
Te doy gracias, Padre Santo, por el amor que has derramado sobre tu pueblo dominicano, sobre esa tierra que es mezcla de culturas, acogedora y hermosa. Te doy gracias por su gente, por su espíritu de lucha, por su alegría y por su fe. Y te pido que sostengas a mis hermanos y hermanas dominicanos cuando se sientan desfallecer.
Dime mi amorcito, manzanita loco. Dime mi amorcito, manzanita loco. ¿Quién te quiere más de lo que yo te adoro? ¿Quién te quiere más de lo que yo te adoro? Vamos a bailar la bandera, la bandera. ¡Vamos, vamos!
On February 24th, the MBTA announced that the Lynn Ferry will return for the 2025 season. Weekday service will resume on March 31st, and the weekend schedule will begin a few months later on May 24th. A one-way fare on the ferry is $7 or $3.50 for reduced fare riders. That same day, the MBTA also announced upcoming service changes for the month of March. On the blue, red, orange, Newburyport, Rockport, Haverhill, and Lowell lines. Newburyport Rockport commuter rail service will be suspended the weekends of March 1st through the 2nd and the 8th and 9th, and replaced by buses. Express shuttle buses will run directly between Swampscott and North Station, while regular shuttle buses will make stops in Swampscott, Lynn, Wonderland, the Chelsea Station, and North Station, with the last outbound shuttle buses making special stops at the Salem and Beverly Depot. The commuter rail will also be fare-free between Swampscott and Newburyport/Rockport during this time. This service change was put in place to support the replacement of two deteriorated bridge superstructures and improve bicycle, transit, and pedestrian facilities. To learn more about additional service changes on all lines, visit lyntv.org or mbta.com. For anyone, adult or child, who enjoys martial arts, this is the event for you. Brickett Elementary welcomed Premier Martial Arts for an after-school session focused on their 5 principles. Students aged 4 to 9 were divided into 2 groups, where they went through a variety of moves and exercises focused on discipline and self-control.
Yeah, what we're going to do today, we're going to take the kids through some basic skills. We're going to talk about self-discipline. We're going to talk about focus. We're going to work on their self-control. We have a few games that we play with them as well, and we're also going to be using some pads, and at the end, they're going to get a chance to break a board.
Yeah, basically we have a couple different skills that we want to work on with the kids today, such as focus, concentration, respect, discipline, and really just kind of the main focus of our program is helping kids not just learn how to defend themselves, but also develop skills that are going to help them at school and in other areas of their life as well.
We start at ages 4 years old. What we do for 4-year-olds, we have you come in and we have you try a couple of classes and see how they do. But we go from 4 on up to adult. Our main age groups are from 5 to 12 years old. We split them into 2 groups. We have a 4, 5, and 6-year-old group, and then we have our 7 to 12s.
Yeah, so we've been open for about 4 years now, coming this summer. Sensei Craig and I here have been with us since the very beginning, launching the business from the ground up, bringing all the new students in the doors and running classes. So yeah, it's been a fun experience to see a lot of the students, how they've grown over the years and matured. And we had our first group of black belts last November, so that was really exciting to see the progress that they made and dedication that they had to the program as well.
I've only been working here for a year, but I've been seeing a lot of progress with all these students. It really has been making a difference in a lot of their lives. It's improving their confidence, their focus, a lot of good skills that you need in the future.
Yeah, so really the reason we're here today is really just to help give back to the community. Being right down the road in Swampscott, we have a lot of students from Lynn that train with us. I'm a Lynn resident myself, and we feel it's something that as part of our job, we want to give back to the local community, especially towns like Lynn that can benefit from our support, and learning lessons are going to help them hopefully for the rest of their lives. This next segment will take you to new heights, literally.
The City of Lynn has begun their 2025 Starry Nights program at High Rock Tower. Members of the community traversed the 100 stairs for a chance to gaze upon the wonders of space. The night of the 26th, they had a special focus on the planets.
Tonight is the City of Lynn's Starry Night program, which is monthly to bi-monthly, weather depending. So in the winter, we typically do it monthly. Basically sunset for 2 hours. So we open High Rock Tower so that the community can come in and take a look not only at the tower, but then also take advantage of our telescope, our Meade LX200 12-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope, which is up at the top, which I operate, and then we look at different objects. Right now, there's no moon, and so it's really great tonight. We're looking, starting off towards the west, looking at Venus, which is a beautiful thin crescent tonight, very bright. Then we moved up to Jupiter, where we could observe the disk of the planet of Jupiter, including cloud bands on Jupiter. And then off to the left, we saw all 4 Galilean moons, Europa, Io, Ganymede, and Callisto. And now we're looking at Mars, where we can see surface details, including polar ice caps. And then we'll wrap up the evening with the Orion Nebula and possibly also the Pleiades star cluster. A lot of observatories do open to the public with some frequency, but it's rare that a city has its own observatory. In fact, I know of only one other city in the country that has its own observatory. There might be others, but it's rare and it's special. The Hutchinson family gave this land to the city specifically for the construction of High Rock Tower, and they envisioned it as a place where people can come and discuss like all the ideas of the day. And I think it says a lot that the community is very excited about engaging with High Rock Tower because it is special, it is unique, and I think there's a lot to worry about in the world these days, but something that I think unites us all across creeds and skin color and everything is a passion for the sky. So I think it's a wonderful way to connect with the community and engage in that civic life. And it's something that, is quite special because so many people have come to High Rock Tower for the first time their whole life. They've lived here their whole life and they've never seen it, and they can bring their children here, or they can bring their extended family or friends or colleagues here and share in that sort of wonder of the night sky and for the city.
The Lynn English girls made the long trek to Attleboro, and despite playing hard all game, returned empty-handed, falling by a score of 66-56. It was a battle, with the two teams tied at 16 by the end of one. From there, Attleboro took a 34-26 lead and was able to control the pace for the rest of the game. Even with the loss, senior captain Amanda Flores netted 23 points in her final game. 14-7 is where Lynn Tech's season ended. The 41st ranked Tigers traveled to 24th seeded Quaboag, where they met their match 52-34. By the end of one, Tech was only trailing by 2, but that deficit only grew larger as the game continued. 17 spots and 52 miles separated the 41st ranked Rams and the 24th ranked Hawks. But none of that mattered on Wednesday night as Classical stunned Hudson, returning home with the 44-36 victory. In true underdog fashion, the Rams were down 25-17 at halftime before outscoring Hudson 27-11 in the second half on their own court. A combination of aggressive offense and defensive rebounds were the key to their victory. 33rd-ranked Belchertown was no match for the top-seeded Spartans, who punched their ticket to the Division III Sweet 16 behind a massive 68-16 victory. Bella Awumi and Charlie Green posted 11 points each in this dominant win. As for hockey, the 14th-ranked St. Mary's girls dropped a 1-0 final to Winchester. It was a tie game through one, but with 20 seconds remaining in the second period, Winchester stole the puck and scored what would be the eventual game winner. On the flip side, their boys team is advancing to the Sweet 16, thanks to twin power. Twin brothers Finn and Caleb Brocky were the heroes in a 2-1 victory over Waltham. With just over 3 minutes remaining in the first period, Finn found Caleb for the score. Then tied 1-1 with 22 seconds remaining in regulation and overtime looming, Finn got the puck and blasted it into the back of the net for the game winner. The 10th-ranked Spartans will face 7th-seeded Arlington tomorrow, March 1st. The Celtics are hot, coming off their 6th consecutive victory, 111-101 over the Toronto Raptors. Even more impressive, they've all been double-digit wins. Against the Raptors, Boston scored 66 points in the first half and were up by 12 going into halftime. For the remainder of the game, the two teams traded punches, with neither going on much of a run. Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and Peyton Pritchard topped the score sheet with 22, 24, and 20 points, respectively. While the Bruins are also on a 4-game streak, but not the good kind. On the 25th, up 4-3 with 46 seconds remaining in regulation, the Toronto Maple Leafs tied it up before winning in overtime 5-4. Are you a new parent in the city of Lynn? If so, the Visiting Nurses program may be of interest to you. The director and lead nurse from Lynn Public Health Department joined us on the Lowdown to provide details on this program, which operates through a collaboration with 15 other communities. Here is the Lowdown. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. And we are also welcoming back the City of Lynn Public Health Department. Thank you both for coming on the show again.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So we're here today to talk specifically about a Visiting Nurses for Mothers program. I know I probably did not say that correctly, but you know the phrasing better than I do. But before we get into that, would you mind just quickly introducing yourselves and your role within the department, please?
I am Lisa Tobin. I am the city's public health director.
My name's Kitzia. I'm the lead public health nurse.
Awesome. So Lisa, you've been here before, but Kitzia, you have not. So may I please ask, what does the lead public health nurse do? Like, what is your job description?
Yes, I do a wide range of things, but this past fall, we did like free flu vaccine clinics, and then I do a lot of health education, so doing like presentations, and also sometimes collaborating with the Inspectional Services Department and doing like camp regulations. And we actually just launched a blood pressure screening clinic, so doing blood pressure screenings for free for residents. So it's a little bit of everything. It does keep me busy, but it's good.
Yes, it definitely does. And another piece of that is the maternal, child, and family health are also fundamental services provided by the Public Health Department. And I know, Lisa, you wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we just wanted to talk about the fact that as a public health department, you know, we're responsible for certain foundational services to provide to residents, and maternal health is one of them. I don't know if you remember, but back in about 2021, there was a lot of concern that maternal mortality rates were going up. And we've recently seen a small decrease in them among all segments of women except for Black women who have given birth. And as a matter of fact, their rates of maternal mortality have gone up. Some people may remember, you know, Tori Bowie, who was an Olympian, 32-year-old Olympian runner. She died. They found her in her apartment from complications of childbirth. And I mean, it just goes to show that regardless of where you fall socioeconomically, like maternal mortality is a serious situation, and something that here in Lynn, where we have so many people of color living in our communities, that we want to make sure everybody has access to the best maternal health that they can get.
Definitely. And one of the ways that you do that is by this program, the Visiting Mothers. And, you know, would you be able to tell us a little bit more kind of about what goes on in that program?
Yes, yeah. So the program is a one-time visit from a public health nurse. And so it does include, it usually starts with a depression screening, so it's the Edinburgh scale. where we're screening for postpartum depression. And we know from the American Psychological Association that about 1 in 7 women that give birth will have symptoms of postpartum depression. And so it's one of the most common complications after giving birth. And so we start with that screening, and then we also will do a keratin screening, which is a parenting like confidence scale. And so a lot of it is parent-led. So we start with trying to understand what concerns they have and having that kind of lead the visit itself. But we do a lot of education, a lot of connecting to resources, because it's not supposed to replace like a medical visit, but it's supposed to encourage parents to feel like they know how to take care of their baby, but also take care of themselves as they're transitioning to bringing a newborn home.
Because they might be going, I have this tiny human that's now relying on me for everything. I might want a little bit of extra help in that department. Right?
Exactly. And so we're there to, if we don't know how to answer their questions, like we connect them to somebody who can answer their questions for them. So
I think it's also important to note that this program is not just for first-time moms. You could have your 5th child, and we're going to come out there and visit you if you'd like. So that's one of the really nice things. Like, you know, it's probably nerve-wracking enough when you have your first child, but when you're bringing a 3rd or 4th home child to a home full of kids already, you can definitely use the help then too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a bit unique, because there are a good amount of programs that are for first-time mothers or parents, of course, in general. But this one is also, doesn't matter if you have 1 or 6 kids, you can do it every time. And I want to see if I get this right. It's a collaboration with the North Shore Public Health collaboration that has 8 participants, but this particular program is 15 communities. Yes, all along Essex County.
Yes, that's correct. So it started with 5 communities back in 2018. I believe it was Beverly, Gloucester, Hamilton, Newburyport, and Peabody. And then it kind of was put on hold during COVID, and then it was expanded this past year. And it got back up and running, and then that's when Lynn joined, and I believe the count is up to 15 communities now. So, and I think it's even growing because we've gotten like other towns are looking into incorporating something like this in their town.
And what would you say are the benefits to having something like this incorporated into a city or a town?
There's, I think, just a ton of benefits. One, because it's free, so it's something that we can provide to everybody. But also, you know, it's to promote maternal and child health. You know, just thinking back to the statistics that Lisa had mentioned, that it's you know, it's things that we're seeing. We're seeing like the numbers are rising for certain populations, and so we want to make sure we're meeting the needs of, you know, our population here in Lynn as well, and but also, you know, helping foster that bond between like the mother and child, but also helping people be connected to different resources for all the needs that they have, whether it be housing, whether it be food, whether it be transportation. So we're also using this as a way we can connect people and get people in the community to the resources that they need.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, we're really making a big stride in going where people are. Instead of constantly having them come to us in City Hall, we're really trying to make a point of getting out there in the community, meeting people where they're at, and introducing them to the whole realm of public health and understanding the resources that we are able to provide to people, and you know, looking through the lens of the social determinants of health to say, you know, how can we help people? How can we make for everyone where they live, work, play better?
And I know that you mentioned a little before the statistics. I may circle back to that in a moment. What were the statistics you were referring to, just for reference?
So maternal mortality rates from the CDC. So, you know, in 2021, it was 32.9%, which was a jump from 2020 of 23.8%. And it's been going down from that high of 32.9%, but it's going down for every category other than Black women.
Oh, okay.
And you know, we just feel regardless of who it's for, they should be going down for everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so this is another way also to check on mothers, check on families, check on people after they bring the newborn home as well. Because like you were saying, which is interesting, you might think about or you mainly think about the needs of the child and what they need, but it's also paramount to think about the parents and how they can adjust to this whole new lifestyle as well, right?
Exactly, yeah. So where, especially given that postpartum, like the first couple weeks are very much focused on the infant because they're, can't really do anything for themselves. And so I think sometimes what we see is that the mother's health kind of falls to the wayside or is not emphasized in these programs as much. Mm-hmm. And so I think something unique about the mother visiting program is that we do have stuff for the baby. We are giving information about the baby, but we're also, also emphasizing mothers and the birthing parent in kind of our initiative and our interventions.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And if someone is interested in this program, how would they go about signing up?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways to do that. So right now we've collaborated with Salem Hospital, so the North Shore Medical Center, and we're getting referrals from their OB department. And then also collaborating with Lynn Community Health Center. Mm-hmm. Other towns have been doing welcome cards where they send directly to the parent's house, but I don't have enough to do that for Lynn. But so we're doing a collaboration with different offices and hospitals to get referrals that way. But we also have on the website on nsmbp.org. There's a referral form as well on the website that people can fill out as well.
Nice. So multiple ways for people to get it. And also, too, even you were mentioning before we went on, both of you, how extensively trained the nurses are who do this. I mean, you were mentioning your own experience. It's hours.
Yes, yeah. So it's a lot of different trainings, a lot of cultural competency, a lot of different trainings on child development, the different stages and how to support parents, how to support kids, and how to recognize if kids need more support. So there is a lot of training that beyond just getting that registered nurse license that kind of goes into what we do. So
we're really fortunate in public health to have Kitzia. I feel like since COVID, as all public health departments are trying to get over dealing with the COVID outbreak, the emergency dispensing centers, it's time to pick up all the other little aspects of public health that we haven't had to do in a while. And Kitzia has come on somewhat new and with full of energy and ready to tackle things. And we're really excited to have her. And as you said, the training to participate in this program goes beyond just being a registered nurse and goes beyond just being a public health nurse. And she's done it happily. So we're thrilled.
Yeah, you can tell how engaged you are. I mean, you can see how into all levels of public health you're in. And I do need to wrap in a moment, but was there anything else that either of you wanted to mention that I hadn't touched upon?
No, I think just also recognizing too, the program is completely free of everything. We don't collect insurance. We don't collect anything like that. It's free for anybody who wants to participate. Really the only requirement is that the newborn that we're talking about is within that first year of life. So any person who's had a baby within the last year, we're more than happy to do a visit for. And we bring a lot of free goodies too. So that we all need diapers, we all need wipes. So it's we have all of that stuff that we bring with us to the visit, but we also bring stuff for the mom to relax. We'll bring calming teas and all of these kind of different stuff too. So.
And I would just add that our website is always being updated with new things, new information. We can be reached at Lynn Public Health at lynnma.org anytime somebody needs something. Our community resource room at City Hall is full of free stuff for people to come down, brochures, information, and we're always looking to help people any way we can.
Yes, you definitely do. And who can say no to free stuff, right?
Exactly.
Well, I want to thank you both again so much for coming on to talk about this.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you.
Thank you. And once again, this has been the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Calling all residents and students who are interested in a career in media. Head down to Lynn Tech from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow, March 1st, for the 4th Annual North Shore Media Expo. Organized by Lynn Tech and Skills USA, local media personalities, public access stations, and production companies will be there to offer internship and shadowing opportunities. LCTV will have a table so you can learn more about the services we offer. Guest speakers, free professional headshots, and giveaways will also be available. Mayor Gerald Nicholson, in collaboration with the City of Lynn's Department of Community Development, the Lynn Housing Authority, and Neighborhood Development, along with the Citizens Advisory Board, is hosting a community public hearing to discuss the city's 5-year consolidated plan, taking place at El Hand on Wednesday, March 5th at 5:30 p.m. This is an opportunity for residents to express their views on economic development, public services, community development, and any other topics they consider priorities in the city over the next 5 years. Spanish translation will be available. For all parents with children in pre-K through 5th grade, attend the 2025 Daddy-Daughter Dance being held from 6 to 8 p.m. on March 7th at Knights of Columbus. Tickets are $40 per couple and another $20 for each additional person. Sponsored by Lynn Parks and Recreation, come down to enjoy a fun night of dancing, music, photos, games, and refreshments. Daddy-daughter dances have been traditional events in the past, but the City of Lynn encourages parents and children of all genders to attend. That is the last dance for now, but you can keep informed and learn more about the wide range of events happening all around the city by following us on social media at Lynn Community Television. For both staff and member content, our complete community calendar, and information on how to become a member yourself, visit lyntv.org. If you only wish to watch staff videos and special programming, Lynn Community Television on YouTube is the place for you. I'm Danny Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.